Great afternoon, beautiful people. Great evening, great evening, great evening. We are so super duper, as Barney would say, excited to have each and every one of you join with us this evening. Go ahead. You guys know what we do. We drop in the chat a great evening, a great day, because some of you guys are joining us from various parts of the world. So drop a great morning, a great evening, a hello. Tell us where you're checking in from. And also, you guys know the first question of every time we get together. What's in your cup, right? What are you drinking tonight? Believe it or not, you guys know I normally have a variation of hot tea to share with you guys. Tonight, believe it or not, I actually have some coffee in here. I actually am drinking some coffee. My mom made me some earlier, y'all, and I kept it with me and warmed it up. Isn't that odd? Her coffee tastes better than mine, right? So great evening. We are so very excited to have each and every one of you guys here. You guys know we are here for a good time, not a long time. We are going to get the party started today. Today's topic, we are simply talking about stress. April is National Stress Awareness Month. So what better time than now to talk about it, right? It's one of those things that we don't always talk about, but it's so important to acknowledge that we all deal with it, right? Every single person, I don't care, rich, poor, short, tall, educator, corporate world, it does not matter. Parent, not parent, we all experience stress. It's a part of life, right? But the biggest thing is we need to figure out, how do we effectively manage it? How do we effectively deal with it, right? It's great morning. I see you guys. So glad to have you guys joining in. So the first thing, let's ask ourselves, what is your definition of stress? What is this thing? We're talking about stress, but what is it? What exactly is stress in your own words, right? What is stress? I will tell you in my words, stress is simply the tension, the pressure, the strain that we feel physically, mentally, when there is a demand upon us, right? When there is an expectation for us to perform. That's what stress is, simply stated, right? It's that tension you feel in your chest, in your head, in your brain, in your heart, right? When there are things that have to be done, right? It could be big things, it could be small things. And can I be honest? Sometimes it's no things. We add things to us that aren't even really a reality. But it's all of those things, right? So that's what stress is. So today we're going to jump right in. You guys know I am all about bringing you research in a practical manner, right? So let's jump right in. What does the research tell us about things that we can do to better manage our stress and to live life lighter? Let me say that again. We all want to live lighter because, again, in order to do your purpose, which is the reason why you are on this earth, it is the reason that you were created. You got a special reason that you're here on the earth, right? Your purpose. It's hard to do your purpose if you are stressed out to the max, right? So in order to do more of living in purpose and on purpose, we really got to do a better job of managing our stress. And let's start jumping right on. Tip one. Oh, wait a minute before we jump in. What did you guys do for self-care this weekend? What did you do to love on you? And y'all know that's what I say self-care is. It's you taking the time to pause and to love on you and to celebrate you and to sit with you and to reflect with you, right? What did you guys do this weekend? Drop it in the chat for me. And make sure that you've liked this video, you've shared it, because we want to share the good stuff in our world. There's a lot of good going on and we don't always share it. This is one of those things. We are intentionally spreading hope on this live, on this podcast. So what did you guys do for self-care this weekend? What did you do? We're going to pause just for a moment. What did you do for self-care this weekend? And you guys know what I say. Even if you've not already done that thing, the day is not over. You still have time. Thank you for checking in, Lexington. We see you. We hope that you guys had an amazing weekend, right? What did you do this weekend for self-care? You guys know lately what I've been intentionally slowing down to spend time with my family, and there's nothing like that. Just even sometimes sitting crisscross applesauce in the middle of the floor watching TV with people that you love, right? That's something that's very important, especially if you're someone who has a hectic schedule, right? Just slowing down to spend time with the people that you love. You got somebody said, I hit the gym. Absolutely. And we want to challenge everybody next week to make sure you're getting some exercise in. But let's jump right on into these tips. Tip one. How is the boss going to tell you or recommend for you to start stressing less and to better manage that stress, the first thing, y'all know I have background in psychology. I got to tell you, the first thing to any part of recovery, we've got to acknowledge the thing. I want you to go ahead right now in your mind, and this is brave space, right? Because we're all here to help elevate and celebrate and encourage each other. Look the elephant in the eye. Stop going around that thing. I'm here to ask you, what is it that you can acknowledge right now stresses you out? And I'm going to share some of my things too. What is something? Drop it in the comment. The first step to being able to engage in stress management is to acknowledge what is the thing that's stressing you out, right? So go ahead and drop that in the chat. I'll tell you something that stresses me out. Bad traffic. It does, right? So it's like, okay, step one is we've got to acknowledge that thing. I'm acknowledging bad traffic is one of those things for me. Then we're going to go through this throughout the day, but it's one of those, all right, if I know that's the thing that stresses me out, let me say this. Anything that's predictable is preventable. Anything that's predictable is preventable. And sometimes maybe you say, well, maybe it's not preventable. But even if I can predict it, I can better prepare for it. Y'all drop that in the chat. If I can predict it, I can prepare for it. Drop that in the chat today. Talking about acknowledging the elephant. We've got to first acknowledge it to be able to prepare for it, right? So drop that in the chat right now. Anything that I can predict, I can prepare for, right? So if we first acknowledge that the hectic schedule stresses me out, start there, then say, all right, what is it specifically about that hectic schedule? What are the things that I can control, right? Controlling the controllables is most definitely one of those things that will help us with stress management. Think about it. When we are trying to control everything and everybody in our world, how does it truly make us feel? Because the reality of the fact is, who can you truly control, right? You. That's right. So let's start right there, acknowledging what is it that stresses you out. So that's tip one. That's looking the elephant in the eye. We're not going to keep skating around and like, no, we're going to stop. This particular thing is stressing me out at this point, right? And can I tell you, sometimes we have to have those courageous conversations. I'm talking to somebody today. It might be time for you to have courageous conversations, because sometimes it's places that stresses us out, but other times it's people, right? And a lot of times it's the people that we love the most, that we just want to be there for them in every possible way, right? And then this is going to lean into step two, tip two, checking those blurred lines, all right? So as we begin to acknowledge what is this thing, this person, this process, this place, this procedure that's stressing me out, if I can acknowledge it, I can prepare for it, right? But then I've got to be willing to have some courageous conversations. Drop it in the chat. It might be time for me to talk. Drop that in the chat for me. It just might be time for you, my dear, to have a courageous conversation. And so I want to ask you to then, as you acknowledge, to check those blurred lines, to check those boundaries, because I can acknowledge, for me, often in my world, I would feel stressed when other people were expecting me to do 1, 2, 3, 4, A to Z. And I would never acknowledge to them, is this something that I should be doing, right? Is this something that I should be helping you with, I should be doing? Or is it that you've just gotten so accustomed to me coming in to save the day for you, right, that I have become an enabler? That's the question. Drop it in the chat. This is a point of reflection. Am I an enabler? And I'm going to pause just for a moment and take a sip of my good coffee, right? Take a sip of my coffee. Are you an enabler? And I got to tell you, folks, if you are an enabler, that is one of those things that you are adding unnecessary stress onto you, right? We want to be in a position to empower others, to equip others, right? Which is mean that, like, that whole stop giving people a fish, teach the man to fish. Let me say that again. Stop giving people the fish. Make sure that you're teaching people to fish, right? She says, this is the one, I'm there. I am working through this, right? This is something I'm myself continuing to grow with. Can I tell you, even with our children, right? There are some things that, yes, we want to be there to support them and show them that we care and we do these things. But then there comes a point where, like, okay, you're big enough to make your own bed. Why am I stressing myself out in the morning to make this bed when if I am equipping you to be a productive little adult, right? And to be responsible and to create positive habits. Those are little bitty things like that, right? That if we would check ourselves and say, is this a blurred line? Am I doing too much for others and not enough for myself? And that might sound a little selfish, but I promise you it's not. You guys know when we are on an airplane, what do? In case of an abrupt landing or whatever, put on your face mask first, right? Put on your oxygen first. And so what's happening is we can't breathe, girl. You can't breathe. Guy, doctor, lawyer, teacher, leader, you cannot breathe because you're giving all the oxygen to everybody else. And so right now I'm talking to you. I'm telling you right now to put on your oxygen mask first, right? Because it's only then that we can still support other people. But again, those blurred lines are a place that I would imagine if you would sit in silence with just you and your thoughts, it is truly a place that if you worked on some of those boundaries, even with work, right? Even with work. I was reading a study, and there's been, you guys have seen some legislation that's starting to sweep all over about remote work, right? Remote work, how, COVID happened and we all shifted into remote work to the point that it was like, oh, it feels good to work from home. Oh, it feels good to work from home. But then you wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning and you feel like you got to work, right? Those lines are just so blurred. So even with that, can I tell you, even in our work environment, right? You are teaching people how to behave with you. Let me say that. That's the deal about boundaries and blurred lines. You, my dear, LaQuanta, my dear, I got my mirror out there. We are constantly teaching people what's acceptable behavior for us. And then we get mad when other people kind of check those lines, check those blurred lines, right? That's one. And if you hear nothing else today, ways to manage your stress is to check those blurred lines and then be willing to have those courageous conversations. All right. So that's tip 2. Here we go. You guys know we're here for a hot time, not a long time. This is another one that's so critically important. How many times do we relive a past mistake? And I'm going to sit in silence just for a second. How much of your time and energy are you spending circling around on that thing that happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 months ago, even 5 days ago? How much of your time and energy are you spending there? Can I tell you, as much as we like to think that we are super women and super men and like we can just shift so many things, right? Yesterday's woes will have you completely just stuck in a space that is not beneficial for your well-being. Let me say that again. Being stuck in yesterday's woes, right? Your mistakes, those issues, even conversations. How many times have we play over? I should have said that in that conversation. I should have told him. I should have, all of those things, right? Even in the business world, right? Sometimes you're getting ready to meet with a new client and you're like, oh, I left that part out. I should have said that. But spending our time and our energy revisiting the woes of the past will have us in a bad space currently, right? Stressed out for something that you can't change. You can't change yesterday. What we can do is learn from those things and forge ahead. So that's the past. And that's the question. Drop it in the chat. Am I stuck in the past? Drop it in there. And you guys know we talked about trauma a couple of episodes ago. If you've not watched it, go back. We were with Elizabeth Robinson, who is a licensed family therapist, and she was on talking about how like we can just be so stuck and we reliving that thing that, like we can't see light. But again, don't be so stuck in the past that you're missing the opportunity for the present. Now, this is the other thing about that's the past. We can be stuck back there and not be doing what we need to do, right? Wasting our good energy. But the other thing is this: if you are so overly anxious about tomorrow, it also can add unnecessary stress to you, right? Because at the end of the day, can I tell you, there's an old song that we sing in the country that just says 1 day at a time. Y'all dropped it in the chat. Somebody needed to hear that. 1 day at a time, right? And so while, yes, we want to prepare adequately for tomorrow, right? Because we know a failure to plan, you're planning to fail. That's facts, right? But don't be so caught up in the thing about what's going to happen, that we miss out on the joy and the gift and the beauty of the present, right? So again, that's tip 3. We can really learn to better manage our stress if we would stop revisiting the past so much and being stuck in that past. And then if we would not be so anxious about tomorrow, because can I tell you, tomorrow's going to take care of itself. I promise you it will do just that. Again, tomorrow's uncertainty will also have us scared to take a chance. Anybody feeling stuck? Stress will do that for you, right? So let me pause right here, because we talked about what is stress. I jumped straight into some tips for managing stress, but let's talk about just for a moment, how does stress manifest itself in you, right? It can manifest itself physically, talking about, I got headaches, my back hurts, my neck hurt, stomach ache, right? All of these things can manifest, anxiety even manifesting itself physically. Can I tell you, for me, physically, if I'm stressed, super stressed, I feel it right here. I carry it right here in the back of this neck, right? So you might be one of those people that if you're stressed out, you feel it physically, right? You might also be one of those people that mentally, once you feel stressed out, it's like, okay, my brain is in overdrive mode, or I'm not thinking clearly, or right, I can't think at all. Like I'm just paralyzed in my thoughts. Socially, are you feeling like I don't want to go out ever? I just want to be alone. I don't want to talk to anybody. ... So that's another one that manifesting itself socially. And then the last one is emotionally. Like you just feel like I'm crying one moment, I'm upset the next moment, I'm ready to fight the next, and the next moment, like blank, no feelings, right? That emotional roller coaster. So those are the 4 different ways. And of course, within those 4 different ways, again, that's physically, mentally, socially, emotionally. Those are just 4 different ways that stress can manifest itself in you. And so the question is, going back to that tip 1 that I talked about, is looking the elephant in the eye. This is another space where you want to be able to acknowledge, what is your body is doing this to you? Flashing, red light, caution, slow down. It's telling you I'm getting too stressed out, right? Drop it in the chat for me. What is your trigger normally that you know your body is saying to you, hold up, wait a minute, we need to put a pin in it? Drop that in the chat for me. And make sure that you've liked this video, you've shared it, because again, we are on a mission to spread love and light, and you guys are a part of that mission. You're helping us to do that. But drop it in the chat for us. How does stress manifest itself normally in you? I know when blank happens, I am starting to feel overwhelmed with too much stress. What is that thing for you? I told you guys, physically, right here. For me, right there in that neck action for me. I know a lot of my counterparts that'll say those headaches, those lingering, that's what I was going to say, those lingering headaches. It is like, okay, this is 2 days, 3 days. And like, okay, that's a big one that a lot of people that I work with day to day experience. What's another one that you guys deal with? How does it manifest itself in you? All right. Again, headaches. I promise you, that's one that we see a lot. Muscle tension. Absolutely. Again, and speaking into that, let me say this, because too many times we won't acknowledge that we're stressed. So when we're not acknowledging it, you're not dealing with it. All right. When you're not acknowledging it, you're not dealing with it. But can I tell you, toxic stress is killing us. I'm talking about all of us, not just one poor, rich, United States, Africa. Like toxic stress is taking us out, right? Well, I'm talking about stroke. I'm talking about heart disease. It's manifesting itself there, right? And don't be from Black, brown community or underserved communities, right? Where we don't have you have food disparities. You have lack of access to adequate health care. You add those things into that stress, and it's a perfect recipe for disaster for us, right? So it's more and more of an issue where we've got to acknowledge, I am stressed out, right? And that's not like, it's okay. I am stressed out and I'm ready to address it, right? Again, so that was tip 1, was again, that looking the elephant in the eye, and you need to be aware, what is that thing for you? Over the next week, lean into your body, pay attention to it, because it's talking to you. It's telling you, wait a minute, hold up, we need a minute. Acknowledge that thing. Then again, step two, check those blurred lines, those boundaries. Living in the present, again, it's a gift that you only can experience if you're right here. Be where your feet are planted. Drop that in the chat for me. You need to be where your feet are planted. And I say this, the older I've become, right? And the more jobs I've taken on that require you to, what we say, multitasking. You guys know, we talked about that one time. That whole concept behind multitasking is a whole nother TED Talk and a whole nother episode of Boss, right? But the older I've gotten and you're doing 1,000 things at one time, y'all, I promise I would flag all day, every day, ADHD at this point, right? So like you have to, that's something I tell LaQuanta, you need to stop, slow down, and be where your feet are planted right now in this moment, right? That's a quick reminder for you that at any given moment that you're like this, you're being pulled 1,000 places, like, hold up, pause, I need a moment. Let me be where my feet are planted. That's one. And then this next one is less competition, more collaboration. Let me say it again. Less competition, more collaboration. For those of you that are in education, for those of you that are in the corporate world, I don't care if it's even though in mom groups, right? Think about that. Even in our social groups, we will find ourselves trying to be in competition with people who you really are positioned to be in collaboration with, right? And so if we're constantly only comparing ourselves, and speaking of that, next week we're talking about imposter syndrome. That's next week's topic, right? But if you are only in a position and standing in a space of how am I comparing to others? Now, I'm not saying that it's not good to be inspired by others. Absolutely. It's not, I'm not saying that it's not a beautiful thing to learn from others. I am the combination of some amazing people because I learned from them. They were willing to pour into me, right? But this is the question. Are you putting yourself in position to compete with people that you really are purposed to collaborate with? That's a big one in our professional space that is causing us extra undue tension, stress, and pressure, right? So I want to remind you right now, and hear me out. In all of the universe, there's only one you. Nobody can do you just like nobody can do her, right? So instead of us being in comparison and trying to one up all the time, how about we 1+1 so we can two up, okay? That is what I want to challenge you to do this week. And I want you to see how that alone will help decrease your stress levels, right? And can I tell you, it'll also increase your productivity because the more we collaborate, the more you're in a position to create. And listen, we are all creative beings. You are on this earth to thrive, right? And the more we learn that it's a collective experience for us with and through each other. We learn with and through each other. The more we collaborate, the more we create, and the more the world is beautiful because of that, right? So again, tip 4, less competition, more collaboration. Somebody dropped that in the chat for me. You know what? I'm going to let my walls down, and I'm going to let that girl. She's been asking me, right? The lady across the street has been asking me, how do I do A, B, C, D, E, F, G? It's okay to have a conversation with her. It's okay to share some of your bright light with her, because let me tell you about a light, and y'all drop this in the chat for me. If this was a lighter, right, and it was a match, and this was a candle, and I did this to light it, right? Does that automatically mean that this light goes out because I lit another one? No, right? I want to challenge you, and you drop this in the chat. I'm going to light some fires this week. Talking about collaboration. Light some fires this week, and you will be amazed at how you pouring into others can lighten a load for you, right? It can give you that extra boost to deal with your stress. Again, less competition, more collaboration. Absolutely, right? And then here we go. We're rolling on. You guys know I try to keep it at 30 minutes, and we are doing good tonight. Here we go. This next one is, and this is a big one. We started with acknowledging what is the thing that stresses you out. How does it manifest itself in your body, right? How does it manifest itself? And then this is the next one. When you know something, when we know better, we need to, you fill in the blank. Know better, drop it in the blank for me. Know better. When you know better, you should fill in the blank for me. And I'm going to wait on it. It's always a little lag, but it's okay. Right. You know better. We should absolutely be doing better. So, for example, I gave the example, bad traffic. It can stress me out. Well, I need to know that every day between 7:45 and 8:15, it's tough traffic. It's tough traffic, right? So I need to disrupt my bad habit of walking out of my house at 8 o'clock, right? So much of us becoming and evolving into the best versions of ourselves, including this stress management, speaks to we need to unlearn some bad behaviors. I'm talking about me. I'm not even talking about you. I'm talking about me, right? There are some behaviors and some habits that are not serving us well, right? Let me say it again. There are some behaviors, some habits, some mindsets even that are not serving us well. It's feeding into the stress. And so as you reflect over the next day, I'm giving you homework. You guys know I am an educator. And that's what we do, right? I want you to really think, what are the things that are stressing me out? What are the things that are stressing me out that if I adjusted some things in me and for me, I could help manage? And that's one of those things, time management. We talked about time management a couple of weeks ago, but that's definitely one, right? So again, somebody drop it in the chat. Go ahead. Let's be vulnerable, be brave and share. What is a bad habit or a habit that you might need to work on, right? That's going to help you be set up for success as it relates to stress management. Go ahead and drop that in the chat. What is something that you know right now in your world that you're doing that, if I'm honest, if I had adjust this behavior, it'll help me with stress management? So you guys know another one for me is working out, right? Working out in the morning serves me so much better than working out at night, right? And so then I feel stressed at the end of the day when I'm like, it's been 2 days that I haven't been to the gym, or 2 days and I haven't worked out. But I know that I need to set up my routines in the morning to work out, right? And so again, there are some things that you got to look at the man in the mirror, right? You got to look at the man in the mirror. Self-reflection is the game changer, right? Talking about being a boss, and you guys know boss stands for bold, optimistic, spontaneous, and substantial, which equals impact. If you're trying to make your greatest level of impact, it has to start with you, right? And what a beautiful thing that it can start with you. It can start with you and end with you, right? Disrupting those bad habits. So I'm going to go back over these because I want you to identify what's the one thing today that you're going to kind of lean into to intentionally stress less and live on purpose more. Again, that tip 1 was looking the elephant in the eye, acknowledging I'm stressed. Not only am I stressed, but this is why, and this is how it's manifesting itself in my body, in my physical, spiritual, mental being, right? Then step 2, checking those blurred lines and being willing to have courageous conversations. And sometimes, y'all, the courageous conversation you have to have starts with you. Starts with you. It starts with you, right? And tip 3, living in the present. The past is gone. It's yesterday. It's not coming back. It's a day that's gone. Tomorrow is a day that we've not seen. Let's give ourselves the beauty and the joy and the gift of living right here in the present. I promise you, it's going to help you so very much. Tip 4, less competition, more collaboration. I assure you there is space in the world for everybody to shine. Let me say that again. There is enough space. There is so much darkness in our world that I assure you that we could never have enough light. We could never have enough hope. And I got to challenge you today. You're it, right? So in order to be that thing, we've got to spread it, right? We need more light. We need more light. And the way that we get more light is we light more fires. We turn other people on to the beauty and the joy of living in a particular way, right? And then tip 5, disrupt those bad habits. And you know what that bad habit is that you have. I saw a meme yesterday that somebody said, I'm really trying to live my best, fit, healthiest life. But it said, this is also me at 2 a.m. And they were sneaking away like with a little Debbie cake into it. Like, if you know you are prone to grab the little Debbie cake at 2 a.m., stop buying them. Get them out of your house, right? It's those things. So this is what I want to ask you right now. What's your one tip that you are going to commit to leaning into this week. The one tip for you to stress less and to live in purpose more. What's that one from the 5 that we talked about today? And then it might be a 6th one, right? It might be, you know what, Dr. Nelson? I have some advice, because remember, we learn with and through each other. That's the beautiful thing. I am so honored every time I interact with each and every one of you guys online, in person, because we learn so much through, with, and through each other, right? So what is your 1 of 5 or your 6 even that you say, you know what? This is the one thing that I am going to commit to doing this week. She says tip 5, right? Absolutely. Tip 5. And tip 5 was disrupting those bad habits. Absolutely. I'm working on that one myself. Right. All right. Somebody else, drop it on in the chat. What's the tip that you are going to commit to lean into, to stress less and live more? Let me say this to you. You deserve to live a joyful life. You deserve to live a life where you don't feel heavy every single day. And I can't say it enough. I'm a realist, right? So when we're doing purpose work, and if you're doing it the right way, it can be heavy, because purpose work means that I am shifting generations to come through whether it's my food service, my teaching, my singing, right? Whatever your purpose is, right? Ultimately, you're using it to make generations in the world better, right? So no, that's not easy to do. But you should not feel like you are under a brick wall every day. You deserve some rest. You deserve to operate in peace. Let me say that. You deserve to operate with your purpose in peace. Drop that in the chat for me. I deserve and I need to operate in my purpose, but I need to do it with peace. And I need to do it with positivity. And those things cannot be done if you are stressed to the max, right? It just can't happen. It's been my absolute pleasure to be with you guys tonight. I am so honored to get ready to drop our event of the year. Is what it is, our all-exclusive boss retreat. This is a special event for everybody. Maybe you're the one that says, I have been overstressed. I have been overworked. I do feel undervalued. Or you might be saying, I'm going through a major life transition and I just need a space to sit with like-minded women, to sit with like-minded people who are willing to also say, I've got something greater in me. Matter of fact, y'all drop it in the chat. That's another reminder today about this stressing and purpose. There is something greater in you. Let me say it. There is something greater in you that you need to be willing to let come out. You need to be willing to show up in the realest, truest, most fiercely authentic version of you, so that, again, you're operating at your full capacity with purpose, right? There is something greater in me. I hope that you guys are walking away from our experience today feeling lighter. But again, the retreat, I'm going to drop it in the chat for you guys there. I would love to have you guys. It is, we invest in everybody and everything but ourselves. Let me say that again. We invest in everybody and everything but ourselves. And then we're wondering sometimes why we are feeling void of the return. You can't get a return in yourself if you aren't investing in yourself, right? So again, I would love for you guys to check that out. Join us. It's going to be amazing. Check my Facebook page and check the page. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But again, drop this in the chat, and we're ending on this. I'm making boss moves this week, y'all. You are the right person at the right time to walk into that school, to walk into that building, to walk into your home, right? To walk into your community, to walk even in the Walmart, in the grocery store, in the barbershop, and leave places better than you found it. That's what boss moves is all about. So drop that in the chat. I am making boss moves this week. Again, remember, it's always a great day to be you. Never, ever forget to be boss. And we wish you the most amazing week ever. We'll see you guys this week, next week. Go be great. Be boss.